Assalamu alaikum. Let's look at these three sentences together. The first sentence says, Anta takdhibu, you are lying. While the second sentence says, Lam takdhib, you did not lie. And the third sentence says, Lan takdhiba, you will never lie. What do you notice from these three sentences? We notice that each of these sentences contain the same fi'l al-mudari', which is the same present tense, takdhibu, takdhib, takdhib. But in the first sentence, the word takdhib with present verb takdhibu ends with dhamma, while in the second sentence it ends with sukun, while in the last sentence it ends with fatha. What do you think has caused this change? When we recite the Quran and we read our other Arabic books, we notice these changes, that sometimes a particular verb in the Quran will carry fatha in a particular verse, and in some other verse you see it with dhamma, and in some other verse you see with sukun. This shows that in the Arabic language, the af'al al-mudari'ah, the present verbs, are known to end with three cases. When it ends with dhamma, it is called the raf'u case, and this raf'u is known as the indicative case. When it ends to sukun, it is called the jazm case, and this jazmu is known as the josib case. And when it ends with fatha, it is known as the nasbu, and nasbu is known in the English language to mean the subjunctive case. Today we shall be learning the reason behind these changes and these ending cases that we see happening to the af'al al-mudari'ah, to the present verb, and we are going to be continuing with our book النحو الواضح مرحلة الابتدائية, our grammar Arabic book, and the topic of the day is نصب الفعل المضارع, the subjunctive case of the present tense verb. That is when the present tense verb will carry fatha. And after this day, we shall be coming up with when the present tense verb will go with the sukun and when it will go with the dhamma. So let's begin. We have al-amthila, which are examples. Let's read through the examples so that we see that the present verbs here will be carrying fatha. Number one, uridu an uhsina sibaha. I want to get better at swimming. I want to perfect swimming. We can see uridu an uhsina. Number two, we have arju an ya'tadil al-jaw. I hope that the weather will become moderate. Number three, we have yasuruni and tazurana. It pleases me that you visit us. Number four, we have lan takdhiba. You will lan akdhiba. I will never lie. Number five says lan yafuz al kaslan. The lazy will not succeed. And number six, we have lan adrib al qitta. I will never beat the cat. Number seven, we have idhan tuqima indana. Therefore, you shall, hence, we can use idhan to mean hence or therefore. Hence, you will stay with us. In bracket, you can see tujibu bidhalika man qal. This is the response that you give to anyone who says sa'azuru medinatakum. I will visit your city. When somebody says I will visit your city, you can respond by saying idhan tuqima indana, then or hence you will stay with us. You see the word idhan, it is a conjunction used to introduce a logical consequence or result of an action. Because the consequence of the person coming to your city is that he's going to stay with you. So you say idhan tuqima indana, therefore hence you will stay with us. Number eight, we have idhan tarbaha tijaratuk, therefore hence your trade will become gainful, it will be successful. Tujibu bidhalika man qal. This is a logical response to give to anyone who says sa'akunu aminan, I will be trustworthy. When somebody says I will be trustworthy, you tell him then you're going to make success in your trade. Number nine, we have idhan yafsud al hawa. Hence the air will become polluted. Tujibu bidhalika man qala sa'ughliqun nawafidha. This is a logical response to respond to someone who says I will lock I will lock the windows. When somebody says I will lock the windows, you can tell him idhan yafsud al hawa. Hence the air will become polluted. Number 10, we have ji'tu kay ata'allama. I came in order to learn. Number 11, we have kharajtu kay atanazzaha. I went out in order to take a recreational walk or recreational what? Stroll. I want to stroll. Number 12, we have ata'allamu. I am learning kay akhduma al-watana, in order to serve the state, in order to serve the country or the nation. Moving on to al-bahthu, which is research and detailed explanation of what we have just read out in these examples, so we know what the topic we need to learn today. يشتمل كل مثال من الأمثلة السابقة. He says that each of the sentences we see in the previous examples from number 1 to 12, each of them contains على فعل مضارع. Each of them contains a what? A فعل مضارع, that is a present tense verb. قبله أحد الأحرف الأربعة. And when we look at the present tense verbs which are contained in each of the previous examples, we will see that each of them is being preceded by one of the following particles. One of the following particles comes before each of the verbs that you present tense verbs that you see in the previous examples. وإذا تأملت آخر كل مضارع. And if you are to ponder over the end of each of the present tense verbs that you see above, مسبوق بواحد من هذه الأحرف الأربعة في هذه الأمثلة. If you are to ponder over the ending of the present tense verbs that we see above in the previous examples, which have been preceded by one of these particles that we named earlier, an, lan, idhan, kay, wajadtahu mansuban, you find out that all the present verbs are in the subjunctive case carrying fatha. walakinnaka idha hadhafta hadha al-harfa. But if you are to omit each of the particles which precede the present tense verbs, wajadta al-fa'ila marfu'an, you will find out that the verb will be in the indicative case carrying dhamma. ومن ذلك, and from that, يفهم أن هذه الأحرف تنصب الفعل المضارع الذي يأتي بعدها. From this, you would know that these particles, an, lan, idhan, kay, these particles, when they come before فعل المضارع, a present tense verb, what they do to the present tense verb is to put it in the subjunctive case carrying fatha. So the only reason why each of the previous examples which have a verb and the present tense verbs are carrying fatha is because they appear before one of these particles, and lan, idhan, kay. Let's look at example number 1. We have uridu an uhsina sibaha. The present tense verb there is uridu, and uridu is carrying dhamma because it is not preceded by any of the 4 particles. But the word uhsina, which is also a fi'l mudari, it is ending with fatha. Why? Because it is preceded by an, and an is one of those 4 particles. Therefore we say an uhsina sibaha. I can say uridu an akula ta'ama. Originally I should say akulu ta'ama. I'm eating food, but because an comes before it, I will now say an akulan. All of the example number 4, the same thing we see, lan akdhiba. I should have said akdhibu, I am lying. But when I say lan before akdhib, it becomes what? Lan akdhiba. I will never lie. So all of the examples that we have seen above, we see that they appear before one of these 4 particles. Now let's look at the al-qaida, which is the rule. The rule says, ينصب الفعل المضارع. The present tense verb is put in the subjunctive case carrying fatha متى سبقه أحد النواصب الأربعة, whenever they have been preceded by one of the 4 particles. Whenever what? They have been preceded by one of the 4 particles. And the 4 particles are an, lan, idhan, kay. 4 particles are an, lan, idhan, kay. Now moving on to tamarinat. Tamarin al-awwal, the first exercise, the instruction says, اقرأ الجمل الآتية. Read the following sentences. وعين الأفعال المضارعة, and identify the المضارع المنصوب, and identify the subjunctive present tense verbs in them. All of the following sentences, we are to identify the af'al al-mudari'ah and the present tense verbs which are having fatha at the end of them. وَاذْكُرِ السَّبَبَ فِي نَصْبِ كُلِّ فِعْلٍ, and mention the reason which puts all of these present tense verbs in the subjunctive case carrying fatha. Number one, we have لَنْ يَبِيعَ أَبِي حِصَانَهُ. My father will never sell his horse. The present tense verb here is yabi'u. So we're going to form a table where we'll write yabi'u, then we write as-sabab. Yabi'u, where we write af'al al-mudari'ah, present tense verbs in the first column, and the second column we write as-sabab. The reason why it is having the fatha at the end of it, the reason here is dukhulu lan alayhi, that is the entrance of lan or introduction of lan, which is a particle among the particles which put the present tense verbs in the subjunctive case carrying fatha, is the reason why yabi'u becomes yabi'a. Number two, we have hazaztu shajarata kay yasquta thamaruha. I shook the tree in order for the fruits to fall. So yasquta is the fi'l mudari, and the reason is dukhulu kay alayhi. Number three, we have la yajuzu lil insani an yajlisa fi majra al hawa. It is not allowed for a person to sit in the airway. So yasquta is the fi'l mudari, and kay is the reason for the changes that we see it having fatha. Number four, we have fatahtu nawafidh al-hujrati kay yatajaddada hawa'uha. I open the windows of the room in order for the air to become refreshing. Yatajaddada fi'l mudari, and the reason is dukhulu kay alayhi. Number five, we have kun mu'addaban kay takuna mahbuban. Be polite in order to be beloved. We can see takunu is the fi'l mudari, and the reason why it is takuna is dukhulu kay alayhi. Number six, we have yashtagilu al-insanu bin-nahar wa yanamu bil-layl. A person busies himself during the time of the day, wa yanamu bil-layl, and he sleeps at night. So yashtagilu is the fi'l mudari, and wa yanamu is also fi'l mudari, but here they have dhamma because there is no entrance of any of these letters before them. Number seven, we have yajibu alayka an tunazzifa asnanak. It is compulsory for you to wash your teeth every day. Tunadhifu is the fi'l mudari, and it becomes tunadhifa lidukhuli an alayhi. Number eight, we have idhan yasihha badanuk, then your body, hence your body will become healthy. Tujibu with dhalika man qal, you respond with this, anyone who says sa'atadu tabkira ila an-nawm, I will get used to sleeping early. So yasihha is the fi'l mudari, and it is yasihha lidukhuli idhan alayhi. Number nine, we have idhan yad'ufa basaruh, hence his sight to become weakened. To give with dhalika man qal, you use this to respond to anyone who says yaqra'u sa'idun fi daw'il da'if. Sa'id reads in the dim light. Yad'ufa is the fi'l mudari, and idhan is the particle that makes it to change to yad'ufa. Number 10, we have yata'abul insanu fi sadrihi kay yastariha fi kibarihi. A man tires himself in his young age in order to rest in his old age. So we have yastariha as the fi'l mudari'un mansub, the subjunctive present tense verb, and it is in this case because lidukhuli kay alayhi. Moving on to Tamrin al-Thani, exercise number 2, the instruction says, Atmim al-Jumal al-Atiya, complete the following sentences, biwad'i fi'lin mudari'in mula'imin washkul akhirah, by placing an appropriate present tense and record the case ending, record whether it has fatha or kasra. Number 1, we have yasurruni, it pleases me, and that ta'uda, that you return. Ta'uda is a fi'l mudari'. Number 2, we have ya'kulul insanu kay, a person eats in order to ya'isha, kay ya'isha. Number 3, we have al-hasudu lan, the envier will never. do what? Yastariha. Lan yastariha. Will never rest. The one who envies will never rest. Number 4, we have alal musafiri and what do you say? Alal musafiri. It is on the traveler to what? And to what? And ya'khudh al-hidra, to take caution. So ya'khudha is the fi'l al-mudari' mansub. Number 4 we have alal, okay. Number 5, ishtaraytu manzilan kay. I bought a house in order kay a'isha fihi, in order to live in it. A'isha. Number 6, we have in utta ila dhanbi falan. If you return to sin, you will never, falan, never, falan, in utta ila dhanbi falan, you can say falan tufliha, you will never be successful. Number 7, yahruthul fallahul arda kay. The farmer harrows or tills the land in order to yazra'aha, in order to what? To plant it. Number 8, we have yarghabu tajiru fi. The trader hopes to what? And yarbaha, to make gains. Number 9, yu'limul aynu, and the eye is pain that yu'limul ayn an tata'arrada lidaw'in da'if, the eye is pain that it should be subjected to weak or dim light. Number 10, we have at-tilmizul kaslanu lan. The lazy students will never do what? Lan yanjah, will never pass. Number 11, yasduqu tajiru kay. The trader is truthful. The trader says the truth in order to what? Yathiqa bihin nas, in order for people to kay yathiqa bihin nas, in order for people to trust him. Number 12, we have tunsha'ul fanadiqu kay. Hotels are built in order to tuskan, in order for it to be lived on. 13, tubna sujun kay. The prisons are built in order kay yu'aqabal mujrimun, in order for the criminals to be punished. Number 14, we have la yastati'ul a'ma, and the blind cannot do what? See. La an yubsira, to see. Let's move on to Tamrin al-Thalis, exercise number 3. The instruction says, Ajib anil jumalil atiya bi jumalin tabtadi'u kullu wahidatin minha bi fi'lin mudari'in masbuqin bi idhan. Respond to the following sentences by a present tense verb which is being preceded by the word idhan, by the particle idhan. Number 1, we have Sa'uhdi ilayka kitaban. I will give to you a book. What will be the logical response? I will say, Idhan ashkurak. Hence, I will thank you. Ashkurak. Number 2, we have Sa'azra'u nakhlan kathiran. I will plant a lot of palm tree. We say, Idhan tarbaha. Hence, you will make gain. Number 3, Sa'amtani'u anil mizah. I will stay away from joke. What will I say? Idhan tuwaqar. Then you will be respected. Next, we have Ya'kulu Aliyun kathiran. Ali eats a lot. The response will be say, Idhan yamurad, then he will be sick. Number 5, Satalabu firqatuna gadan. Our group will play tomorrow. What do I say? Idhan nushajji'uhum. Then we are going to nushajji'uha. Idhan nushajji'uha. We are going to encourage them. Number 6, La yanamu hadha tiflu illa qalilan. This baby does not sleep except a little. We say idhan yamrad, then he will be sick. Number 7, La yadakhiru hadha rajul min malihi shay'a. This man does not keep anything from his wealth. We say idhan yahtaj, then he will be in need. Number 8, satumtiru sama'u ba'da qalilin. The sky will rain after a short while. In a short while. What do I say? Idhan tabtalla. Idhan tabtalla, then tabtalla al-ard. Idhan tabtalla al-ard, then the earth will become what? Wealth. Number 9, we have tabayyana li anna hadha at-tajira kadhuban. It has become apparent to me that this trader is a liar. So I say idhan nansahah, then we advise him. Lastly, alimtu anna sadiqana maridun. I learned that our friend is sick. So what I say? What do I say? Idhan nazurah. Then we visit him. تمرين الرابع exercise number 4. The instruction says ضع في المكان الخالي أحد الحرفين. Place in the blank spaces one of the following particles an and k. واشكل آخر المضارع بعدهما and record the case ending of the present tense coming after them. أحب dash and أسافر. أحب and أسافر. That's the correct thing. Next, G2 K usallim alayki is the correct thing. I came in order to greet you. Number 3, yasurruni an anjaha. It pleases me an anjaha. 4, asra'tu K udrika al-qitar. I rushed in order to get the train. Number 5, yu'limuni an tu'adhib al-hayawan. It pains me that you punish the animals. 6, ata'a abahu abahu. He obeyed in order for his father to love him. Tamrin al-Khamis, exercise number 5. The instruction says adkhil lan. Introduce the particle lan ala kulli mudari'in fil jumal al-atiya wal akhirah. Introduce the particle lan to all of these the verbs, present verbs that we see in these following sentences and record their endings. Number 1, we have ya'udu al-ghaibu. The absent is returning. We say lan ya'ud al-ghaib. The absent will never return. Next, we have Muhammadun yata'akhkharu fi sabah. Muhammad delays in the morning. We say lan yata'akhkhara Muhammadun lan yata'akhkhara fi sabah. Muhammad will never delay in the morning. Lan yata'akhkhara. Next, we have usafir wahdi. I'm traveling alone. I will say lan usafir wahdi. I will never travel alone. Number 4, we have al-mudhnibu ya'udu ila dhanbi. The sinner is returning to his sin. I will say lan ya'ud al-mudhnibu lan ya'uda ila dhanbi. The sinner will never return to his sin. Number 5, we have ahuka yata'arradu lil barb. Your brother is susceptible to cold. I will say ahuka lan yata'arradu lil barb. Your brother will never be susceptible to cold. Number 6, obti'u fil mashi. I walk slowly. Lan obti'a fil mashi. I will never walk slowly. Tamrin al-Sadis, exercise number 6. The instruction says iti bi thamani jumalin bi kulli minha mudari'un masbuqun bi harfin nasibin wastawfi jami' al-ahrufin nasiba. Form 8 sentences, and each of these sentences should have before it a fi'l mudari, a present verb, which is being preceded by one of the 4 particles that we have learned today. So we're going to use each of the particles to form 2 sentences. Let's begin. The first one is an. I will say uridu an akula ta'ama. I want to eat the food, an akula. I can also say uridu an ashrab al ma'a. I want to drink the water. So these are the 2 for an. Let's move on to lan. I will say lan adhhaba ila al bayt. I will never go to the house. Then I can say lan akula ta'ama. I will never eat the food. Moving to idhan. Let's use idhan to form 2 sentences. For someone who says sa'aftahul kitaba, I will open the book, I can respond by saying idhan taqra'ah, hence you will read it. For someone who says sa'amtani'u anil ta'am, I will avoid food, I will say idhan tamrad, then you will be sick. Let's now use K to form 2 sentences also. I can say kharajtu K ata'allama, I went out in order to learn. I can also say akaltu K aqwa, I ate in order to be strong. Moving on to tamrin fil insha, exercise on composition, that is tamrin sabi, exercise number 7. The instruction says ajib anil as'ilatil atiya. Answer the following questions bijumalin, with sentences yashtamilu kullun minha, and each of these sentences should contain ala fi'lin mudari'in mansubin, should contain a subjunctive present tense verb. The first question says maladhi takhshahu idha la'ibta bin nar. What do you fear when you play with the fire? The instruction can be akhsha an ahtariqa, I fear that I will get burned, an ahtariqa. Number 2 says hal tukhalifu awamira muallimik. Do you go against the orders of a teacher? I will say لن أخالف أوامر معلمي. I will never go against the orders of my teacher. Number 3, ماذا تحب أكله من الفاكهة? What do you love to eat of fruits? I can say أريد أن أكل البرتقال. I like to eat the apple, the orange, sorry. Number 4, we have لما دخلت المدرسة. Why do you enter into the school? I can say دخلت كي أتعلم. I entered in order to learn. Number 5, ما تقول لمن قال. What do you say to the one who says سأختار الأصدقاء? I will choose friends. I can say إذا تفلح, then you'll be successful. إذا تفلح, then you'll be successful. Lastly, we have لما ترش الشوارع بالماء. لما ترش الشوارع بالماء. Why is the street being wet with water? I can say كي كي تقل الأتربة, in order for the dust to be reduced. تمرين في الإعراب, that exercise on grammatical analysis. تمرين الثامن, exercise number 8. نموذج, we have sample to follow in order to also analyze the following sentences. Number 1, we have أريد أن يحضر الخادم. I want that the servant should come or should be present. أريد is فعل مضارع, present tense verb, and is حرف نصب, that is a subjunctive particle. Then يحضر is فعل مضارع منصوب, a present tense verb in the subjunctive case. Then الخادم فاعل مرفوع, that is subject, the subject nominal in nominative case. Number 2, we have لن يعذب محمد الحيوان. Muhammad will never punish the animals. لن حرف نصب, that is the subjunctive particle. يعذب is فعل مضارع منصوب. Then محمد فاعل مرفوع. Then الحيوان مفعول به منصوب. Let's now do our own أعرب عن الجملتين الآتيتين and analyze the following 2 sentences. Number 1, we have جلس الولد كي يستريح. The boy sat in order to rest. So جلس فعل ماض. Then we have الولد فاعل مرفوع, كي حرف نصب, then يستريح فعل مضارع منصوب. Number 2, we have إذا يذهب التعب. Hence the stress will go. So إذن حرف نصب, then يذهب فعل مضارع منصوب, and التعب فاعل مرفوع. With this, we come to the end of this lesson. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us better understanding than we have presented. Do make sure you like, share with your friends, and drop your comments at the comment section. Make sure you solve all of these exercises and click on the description box to get the book. If you have not gotten this hard copy of the book, you can click on the link placed in the description box in order to download your soft copy of the book. Until we meet again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.